welcome to the next episode of Coming Soon Movie News with Nicholson. I'm your host, and on this episode we're going to be talking about all of the day's movie news and kind of giving a little bit of background on what it all means for the production in general. Now, before I get on to today's topics, I do need to let everyone know a little bit of sad news. It was reported this morning that actor-director Harold Ramis, who is best known for his roles as Egon in the Ghostbusters movies, and also directed films such as National Lampoon's Vacation, Caddyshack, and Groundhog's Day, has passed away at the age of 69. He's been battling an autoimmune disease for several years now, and it looked like he had overcome it a couple of years ago, but he recently just relapsed, and unfortunately this morning he passed away. This is really sad news considering the talent that he was. You got to remember, this is the guy who directed Caddyshack. He wrote Groundhog's Day, won an Academy Award for Groundhog's Day. He started off the whole National Lampoon's Vacation series with the original Vacation, which launched one of the movies that launched Chevy Chase's career. Very influential person in Hollywood, especially in the way that comedy is viewed today as opposed to how it was viewed, 30, 40 years ago. He hasn't really been involved in a lot of projects recently. He was involved partially with the new Ghostbusters movie that they've been trying to make. Dan Aykroyd has come out a lot and stated that they're moving forward with this new script that they have, and this and that and the other thing, and there's just never been any movement on it, and this is really unfortunate, as we will not be able to see him reprise his role again if they do end up moving forward with a third film. And his last contribution actually to feature films was in 2009 with the Jack Black, Michael Cera comedy Year One. So that was the last film that he did. This is very unfortunate news to hear, and it's just a very sad passing. It's a real talent that Hollywood has lost. Some more lighthearted news. After the massive success of the Lego Movie reaching over $150 million domestically, Warner Brothers has now announced a sequel. The Lego Movie 2 will open May 26, 2017. I could not be more excited about this. I loved the Lego Movie. It was phenomenal. Every aspect of that movie was perfect. It was comedic gold. It was one of those movies where you can really feel that there's an influence on kids and it's made for adults at the same time. I can guarantee that there are a lot of jokes in that movie that kids will not even understand. Adults loved it. The theater that I was in was packed. Adults, kids, did not matter. Everyone was having a great time. I am super excited to see the sequel. There's no word yet on if directors Chris Lord or Phil Lord or Chris Miller will be returning. We do know that they're going to be back on as producers. Currently, they are working on post-production of 22 Jump Street, which will be released this fall. But as it stands right now, they are only on as producers, so we don't know exactly what their role is going to be. But hopefully within the next few months, they're going to announce some more movement on this project. But we do have a few years to wait. Like I said, it is announced for May 26th, 2017. So we still got a few years to go. Next. There was a casting call that came out over the weekend from Warner Brothers, and it looks like there's another member to be added to the cast of Batman vs. Superman. We already know that we have Ben Affleck as Batman, Bruce Wayne. We have Henry Cavill reprising his role as Clark Kent, Superman. We have Lawrence Fishburne coming back. We have Amy Adams coming back, and Diane Lane is also coming back as Martha Kent. The new additions to the cast, including Ben Affleck, are Gal Gadot playing Wonder Woman. We have Jeremy Irons, who was the villain in Die Hard with a Vengeance. He was also the voice of Scar. He will be playing Alfred in the new version. And we also have Jesse Eisenberg playing Lex Luthor, which is a very interesting casting, I must say. But now it looks like they're adding another potential Justice League member to this cast. A casting call came out that said that they were looking for a physically fit African-American male in his early 20s for an undisclosed role. Now, usually when a casting call comes out like this, it doesn't really mean anything, but with dealing with all the rumors that we've been hearing about this project, it does look like this could potentially be for Cyborg. And Cyborg is one of the members of the Justice League. Now, whether or not they end up using Cyborg as a member of the Justice League in this version, or if they just go with the standard Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and most likely either Flash, or maybe Martian Manhunter, or actually Aquaman would probably be a better choice. But Cyborg has been really making a lot of strides recently, especially in the animated universe. When you watch the DC animated films, which a lot of them are actually really well done. You get a real sense of how he could fit into the team, and especially dealing with Lex Luthor, and if the role that they're going with him is more of a technological influence, very similar to the role that Jesse Eisenberg played in Social Network as being a tech billionaire, that it leads a lot to believe that they could be dealing with Cyborg. And the company that created Cyborg, called Star Labs, was actually featured in the first Man of Steel. So they've been placing these little Easter eggs around to see maybe if this is the direction that they're going, or they may just be little nods to the comic fans. We really don't know. But this is still kind of interesting, because if this becomes true, this could mean that this is not going to be Batman versus Superman, that they're fully going on with just Justice League. Because if they're going to throw one more superhero in there, there's no point in having a separate Justice League movie. They're all going to be in here. So it's going to take a little bit of time to figure out if this is actually true. I will update you guys as soon as we hear some more information. But as it stands right now, it's just an open casting call that could potentially lead to another superhero appearing in that film. So we'll have to wait and see. And Legendary has actually released a new poster and 10-second audio clip for their upcoming remake of Godzilla. As you know, Godzilla had a trailer released a few months ago. It was a phenomenal teaser trailer. I could not get over how well done it was, because it really set up the mood. It gave a different sense of movie that they were going to be trying to do, as opposed to like trying to get the taste of that 1998 Roland Emmerich film out of their mouths. Like, that movie was just abysmal, and making him basically a giant iguana. This way, we've seen from the teaser trailer, we've seen from the poster, they are going with more of a classical look for Godzilla, which I'm really happy about. And hopefully we're going to get a new trailer really soon. But Gareth Evans, the director of this movie, did a movie several years ago. It was a very, very independent film called Monsters. And it won great accolades at the Toronto International Film Festival, and I also believe at Sundance International Film Festival. So he got a lot of credibility from that film and was chosen to direct this new version of Godzilla. So from what we've seen so far, it looks phenomenal. When you hear the roar, it's obviously an updated roar, but there is still that sound that people will remember, that the specific Godzilla roar. So all these little tidbits that they're releasing are giving me a lot of hope that this is going to be a solid remake, that this is not going to just take the overall concept and completely change everything else about it like they did in the '98 movie. So this movie, I think, is really going to start to ramp up with its production and advertisements. So hopefully we're going to be seeing a new trailer relatively soon. I wouldn't expect it to be longer than 2 weeks away, especially when you start seeing posters and stills come out for the movies. The trailer's usually right around the corner. So hopefully we're going to have some more information about that in the next few weeks. But I'm really looking forward to that movie. It's a new Godzilla movie. It's taken them a long time to get it. We've been teased several years at Comic-Con with this footage, so now it's finally coming. It's only a few months away. We should be getting some good promotional material within the next few weeks. Another release is actually coming out to theaters starting next week. This one's actually kind of surprising. They are re-releasing Anchorman 2 into theaters, what is being known as the R-rated or the supersized R-rated version, with 763 new jokes. Do you remember with the first Anchorman movie, they had Wake Up Ron Burgundy, The Untold Story? It was essentially Anchorman with every joke replaced with something different. They are now doing that again. This time they're doing a theatrical release. I can't wait for this. The first, Anchorman 2, I thought was absolutely hilarious. I was laughing every single second, still some more quotable lines than any other film. I didn't think the storyline of the film was very good, but this wasn't a movie that really needed a good story. It was just joke after joke after joke. So, I mean, with the hopes of Anchorman 3 probably never coming out, or at least not for a long time, the Anchorman 2 did not make as much money as the first one did, and when a studio sees that, when they invest more money into a film and it doesn't make as much as its predecessor, they're probably not going to move along with a third one. But this, coming back to theaters, it's going to be an R-rated version, not a PG-13 version, so This is going to be, I think, absolutely hilarious. I cannot wait to see it. It's coming back to theaters for 1 week only on February 28th, and then the film will be released on Blu-ray at the beginning of April. And it will include not only the R-rated version, but also a separate unrated cut. And plus, I believe over 5 hours of features on the Blu-ray. So, I mean, they're really going all out with this film. They did a lot of promotional material. They've been teasing it for a while, and when it was finally released, I found that it lived up to the hype. Especially that end sequence that topped the first one, I think, in every aspect. That was the only spot of the movie that I did feel was superior to the first one. Still a great, hilarious movie. Just that you're trying to deal with one of the greatest comedies of all time. It's really difficult to try to pass that up. So really interested to see where they go with this, and if this is a drastically different movie like Wake Up Ron Burgundy, or if it's going to be very similar, just different jokes. But it will come out to theaters starting on Friday for 1 week only, and then at the beginning of April it will be released on Blu-ray. So check that out when it comes out. And the final news topic that we have today is Sony has actually released a new trailer for The Amazing Spider-Man 2. This trailer focuses a lot more on the villains aspect of the movie. A lot of the trailers have been focusing more so on Spider-Man. This one really does focus a lot more on Electro. You kind of get to see a little bit more about what his motivations are, why he's doing what he's doing, and you really get a sense of the path that they're trying to take with this movie, with the new Sony Marvel Cinematic Universe. So really getting a grasp on it and dealing with not only having Electro, having Rhino, having one of the Green Goblins. Where I mean, judging by this trailer, you can hear Chris Cooper, who is playing Norman Osborn, talking. And he says, "We have plans for you, Peter Parker." So you can tell that he is also going to become the Goblin. I'm assuming that he's going to become the second Goblin. I think both him and Harry are going to be, and I think that Norman Osborn is going to be the Goblin that we've all come to know, and he's going to become the leader of the Sinister Six, which is where they're going. So we know that, judging by the one trailer, we know that Dr. Octopus is going to be involved in that. We know that Vulture is going to be involved in that, and actually, Colm Feore is a very, very well-established Canadian actor. He is playing Adrian Toomes in this movie, and Adrian Toomes is the Vulture, or turns into the Vulture in the comics. So they've already got him cast in that role, most likely going to be showing up in either the third or fourth Spider-Man as the Vulture. But then we also have Rhino, we have one of the Goblins, we have most likely the Lizard, because the Lizard was still alive at the end of the first one, and potentially an unknown. I don't believe they're going to use Venom, because they're using Venom as a standalone film, and if they're using him as a standalone film, that probably means that he is going to be an anti-hero. He's going to be like the Punisher. He's going to be a villain of sorts, but he's going to have characteristics and aspects of him that you are going to root for, and he's actually going to save the day in the end. So I don't see them using him as part of the Sinister Six. Now, that being said, I don't know who else they could choose. Like I said on last week's episode, I hope they use Mysterio. I think that he would be phenomenal in this new universe that they're creating. He would really open up a lot of possibilities. Very magical in a sense. And if Marvel, with their cinematic universe, are potentially going to be doing a Doctor Strange movie, it makes sense for Sony to do this with Mysterio. He's a very similar character, not in terms of his motivations, but just in terms of physically what he can do. They both are magic based, so it'd be very interesting to see where they could go from that. And hopefully this is the last trailer, because I'm starting to get trailer fatigue with this movie. They've released now, I believe, 5 or 6 trailers, and we're still 2 months away, or almost 3 months away, less than 3 months away from the release. So there's still time for them to release another film or another trailer. And you got to remember, they're going to be releasing TV spots soon. So if you want to not be spoiled, they've almost shown the entire movie in the trailer. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I would say avoid any new trailers that are coming out. Watch the one that I had in the video last week. That one really gives you a sense of the storyline. Any of the other trailers do start to spoil the movie. So visually, if you don't want anything ruined, then avoid the next couple of trailers and just go and see the movie on May 2nd when it does come out to theaters. So that's it for today's episode of Coming Soon. I want to thank you all for joining me today, and make sure you click subscribe down here at the bottom of the screen so that you can get updates on whenever my new videos come out. I will be putting one out every day, and also please follow me on Twitter because I will be posting new updates about movie information as it comes out, and then the next day or later on that day, depending on what day it is or what time it is, I will be doing an episode about that information. But just so that you can keep up to date, I won't be talking about everything that I retweet, but it'll just give you a better sense of what's going on in Hollywood. So don't forget to do that. This has been Nicholson. You guys have been great, and come back tomorrow to check out the next episode of Coming Soon, Movie News with Nicholson. Take care.